Okay, so today we're going to start to make a mini art museum. So a mini part of the museum with your 2 walls to put whatever artwork you want on your walls. And so we're going to make a diorama. You're going to start with a square piece of paper. When you get your square piece of paper, the first thing that you want to do is fold it in half 2 times so that you get 4 squares. So that's folding in half once, folding in half twice. So I started with a square, folded in half, got a rectangle, folded in half again, got another square. So you're going to open this up, and you have 4 squares. The first thing that I want you to do is decide which one of the bottom ones that you want to design a floor on. And since I'm right-handed, I always stick with the right square. One square is going to be left white because it's going to get covered up and glued. So this is going to be my floor. And then decide, do you want a tile floor? Do you want a wooden floor? And whatever kind of floor you decide, you're going to need a ruler. So I'm going to do a black and white checkered floor. So I'm going to use the width of my ruler, how wide the ruler is, to help me to make my tile floor. So I take the edge of the ruler, line it up with this crease in the middle, and draw a line on the right side. Then I'm going to slide my ruler over to that line up the left side of the ruler with that pencil line, draw another line on the right side. So that as I do this, these spaces are very equal because they're all the width of the ruler. And it just looks nice. If you've ever been in a room with a tile floor, the tiles are typically the same size and spaced out evenly and neatly. Now I'm going to turn to make crisscross lines. So I'll start with the crease here, line up with the left side of the ruler, and draw until I get to the crease here. And I'm just going to keep doing that same thing, lining my ruler up with the last pencil line. Okay, I went over a little bit over here, but it really doesn't matter. So you can see some of these squares run off the edge, and that's okay. Since I'm going to do a black and white tile floor, I'm going to get a chisel tip marker, and I'm going to color in neatly every other square. Make sure when you're using a permanent marker that you use a nice juicy one that works and not one that's drying out and getting old. So since I'm doing a black and white, so I color one, skip one, color one. And then when the next row happens, I do the opposite of what I did here. So since this one's colored, I leave this one white and I color the next one. So here I colored one, skipped one, colored one, skipped one, colored one, skipped one. Here I'll go skipped one, color one, skipped one, color one. When I get to the edge here, I'm going to put a placemat under my work so that I don't get marker on the table. Okay, so there's my black and white checkered floor. Now that I have my floor drawn, I need to write my name on the back of one of these 2 squares. So not on this one down here by the floor. The floor is on the bottom, the one next to the floor. So I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to write my name, and I can see through, which is perfect. So I know this is my floor. So right above my floor, I'm going to write my name and the day of art, day A, day B, day C. And then I'm going to flip it over. Now I want to show you how to do a wood floor or a different tiled floor if you're interested. With a wood floor, I'm going to use my ruler to make wooden planks, and I'm going to make them the same width of my ruler because it's just easiest. I decided to make them go this direction. You could make them go horizontally if you wanted. So I'm drawing my wood floor right now vertically. If you wanted to do horizontal, you can. Then I'm going to go through and draw the breaks in the wood floor, the seams. And where there's seams, there's going to be nails. So I'm going to add some nails. His wood floors get nailed into the base of the house, or the building in this case. Then I'm going to trace with marker. I didn't do a very good job right there. I'm going to fatten this line up. That way I can camouflage my mistake. Okay, and then I'm going to use crayon. You could use colored pencil if you want, but I'm going to use crayon to color in. The crayon will go faster than colored pencil to color in the wood floor. When you color, try to color all in the same direction because it just looks nicer and neater. That's how you would do a wood floor, and then I'll quickly show you how I did this tile floor. I broke it up very lightly into squares like I did for the black and white tile floor. I didn't press real hard with my pencil. I tried to make the lines lighter because I'm going to erase these later. And then I skipped my pencil and went straight to marker. If you're afraid you'll make a mistake, you might want to do this next step in pencil first, but I went through and then I just drew rounded cornered squares within each of these pencil squares that I drew. So they're slightly smaller. I'm not tracing over the pencil lines that I drew with the grid. I'm using that to help me to know where those squares will sit inside the grid. So now that I have my tiles drawn, then I take an eraser and erase my pencil grid that I made with my ruler earlier. And then you can decide how you want to color your tiles in. You can color them in any way you want. I chose to just take one color and color the whole thing. You could choose to color each square a color and then color a different square or a different color for the space between the squares. It's completely up to you. And so now, once you have your floor colored, you're going to get a tagboard pattern, and this is going to be where you put your art. So you're going to lay that on one of the walls along the top. So we know this is the bottom of our diorama, and these two top boxes are going to be the walls of our diorama, these two parts to our diorama. So you can choose to do vertical or horizontal. You can do both walls, one artwork, both of them horizontal, both of them vertical, or like I did on my finished piece, I chose to do one vertical and one horizontal. So you're going to lay this down, and with your pencil, you're going to trace around this shape near the center of the wall. Center top to bottom, center right to left. And then the same on the other wall. Okay, and so these lines are going to be our frame. And you're going to use a Sharpie marker to trace your frame for your artwork. And then you're going to use your pencil to draw two artworks inside your frames. And you get to decide what you want the subject matter to be. It can be a portrait, a picture of a person, a picture of animals. It can be a landscape, a seascape. A landscape's a picture of land, a seascape is a picture of water, so I did a landscape here and a seascape here. You could do just lines and shapes. You could do a cityscape, which is a picture of a city, but you're going to draw this out onto your paper, or I'm sorry. So you're going to draw this out inside the frame. So whatever it is that you're drawing, you're going to draw with pencil. Then after you get your two artworks drawn inside the frames with pencil, you're going to use colored pencil to color it in. So here are my two frames colored in with colored pencil. You'll use an extra fine Sharpie marker, one of these extra fine markers, to add the little label. It's just a little rectangle, and you could just put some lines in it. The label in the art museum helps to tell the people who are looking at the art who made it, what it's made of, what's the name of it, and all of that. So then you'll add those too. Usually they're on the right side of the artwork. Sometimes they're on the bottom right, or sometimes if the artwork is closer to the floor, they're on the right hand side, but they're up a little bit higher. So I just draw a little rectangle and some lines. And so once your artwork is colored in neatly with color pencil and you have added your label, then you're ready to turn this into a diorama. So you're going to cut this bottom center line up to the middle of the paper. So just one cut. And then you're going to do a frame of glue on the white square that doesn't have anything on it. And then you're going to lift the floor up and twist to cover up the frame of glue. And this creates your diorama. Now, if these are kind of laying down, you can bend them forward to make the wall stand up straighter. And there you have, well, here's my finished one with artwork. So once that floor is glued, then you have your finished mini museum diorama.